Hi everybody. Whoa. Alright. I'm back. Happy Wednesday. Welcome to episode 2 of what I now call the Atypical Art Podcast. I'm getting things set up still. I'm thinking about recording maybe 2 or 3 weeks worth of videos before I put them up online, just so I can have some more content for you guys. But I'm super excited for today. Hello everyone, thank you for joining. Today we are going to have my longtime friend, Anthony Raus, on the podcast. Known him since high school. He's done a lot of cool things. So let's get this started. Come on, Anthony. Slag is great. Oh, he left? Okay, well, we're going to wait until he gets back on here. Here he is. Hey!
Hi.
How's it going?
It's all right. It's
All
good.
right.
I've never done this, so bear with me.
I'm learning as I go, but we'll figure it out.
Yeah.
All right. So, give yourself a little introduction. Who are you?
My name is Anthony Raus. I live in New York, and I'm
New York what? You have to say the whole thing.
New York City.
Okay. And you are from?
That is 5 seconds in before you said something rude to me. Right. I'm from New York City. I make films. I'm an actor.
You're from April Park.
I'm from April Park.
And you're how old?
25.
Fucking hell. All right, we're off to a great start. Okay, so let's start off with a little bit of background. What was your childhood like in regards to art and film and all that?
It's when I was younger, it was like 90% about the attention. I loved the attention. I loved that's primarily why I got into acting, was I loved the gratification of entertaining and you know, whatever it was, if it was painting a picture or putting on a play in my living room. I just kind of liked reactions off of people.
Okay. What was the youngest you were in, like a show or anything? Because you've done a lot of acting. Other people don't know that. You have to give the whole.
You're absolutely
You have to
right.
tell people.
You're absolutely right. I guess I was 4 when I was in my first show.
Okay, what was it?
Schenectady, New York. It was Cinderella.
Oh, what were you?
The pumpkin.
Aww.
So that was my
I
big
wish we had some pictures we could show.
We don't.
I'll text your mom later. I was just talking to her the other day. So what was your proudest like creation or role as a kid? It can be a little bit older, like it can be up to.
Yeah, that's a little harder because I mean, I loved everything I did. I was always, I guess if I had to, probably The Lion and the Wizard of Oz, only because I was going from middle school into high school, and it was,
right.
You know,
That was
I was
freshman year for you?
That was freshman year, yeah.
So that was a big role. That was
it was
what the school's biggest musicals for a while. So
yeah, and it was very because you know, you enter high school with the mentality of like, oh my god, I'm a little fish in a big pond, whatever you would say, whatever analogy you want to use, but it's very yeah, so it was very it did a lot for my self-esteem in terms of thinking that I can, you know, do something. Nice. But yeah.
So you said that the first show you did was when you were like 4. So did your parents expose you to like a lot of art and like theater and stuff before? Did you go, like, tell me a little bit about that?
Oh yeah, we would go to shows in New York all the time, and that was back before they had like the, you have to be 7 and up to go to a Broadway show. So
Oh.
they would take me to kind of.
I didn't even know that was a thing.
Yeah.
Oh.
It was. I liked just being able to see other people do stuff that I only thought of doing in my, my bedroom or my bathroom or whatever. We're in the shower. In the shower, you do. It's. So yeah, it was cool. It was
Nice.
Yeah.
What was your earliest memory like in like a theater setting?
Lion King. My parents took me to see The Lion King, and it was incredible. Yeah.
That's awesome. So obviously it had like an influence on you, but do you remember like anything in particular, like an aha moment, like as a kid, like this is what I want to do, or you kind of just kept on it?
Not really. I always kind of. I mean, my parents kind of had the idea when they signed me up for Little League baseball, and I was out in the outfield picking dandelions and dancing around the field. So they kind of knew that sports wasn't what Anthony was going to be doing. So the next year they signed me up for weekend courses at an acting institute, and yeah. So.
Oh, that's cool. Tell me a little bit about that, like your process of like education or classes, or like how you learned like everything you did, because you do singing too, right? Kinda. You didn't have any training for that. That was just
no, because I never really thought of myself as a singer. I always kind of, whenever I would do a musical or something, I would kind of approach from the fact that I'm playing this character who happens to sing in the time span of this story, and so I have to do it. Okay. But it never, like, I would never sing just to sing. If I ever did, it was because the character was singing.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
So you did acting classes as a kid too.
Mm-hmm.
Where was that? Give a shout out.
I did. I don't know if they're still around, but they're not. It was the New York State Theater Institute that is now the Theater Institute at Sage.
Oh, okay. Okay,
this
cool.
Before they were.
They're old.
Yeah.
So you did that, and then just like walk me through like your whole like timeline up until college.
It was. I did those classes for about 4 years till about 2007, 2008 when I was in like 5th grade.
Okay.
Middle school was hell. Middle school, I went through. You go through a shit ton of phases. So
But throughout, you're still doing shows.
Yeah, well, yeah, and it was there was a 2-year period. It was 7th grade into 8th grade. I didn't do anything. I didn't even think about theater because
you did in 8th grade.
When 8th grade started, 7th grade, into 8th grade, nothing. I didn't do anything. 7th grade into 8th grade, I didn't do anything. It was just it was a very trying time, whatever, for a middle schooler.
Right.
But come 8th grade, I picked it back up again. It was like I never left. I loved it just as much as I did when I stopped doing it. And then I didn't take any classes outside of high school. Mm-hmm. But I took, intro to theater and the acting courses that they offered in school. And then when I graduated high school, I went to the New York Conservatory for Dramatic Arts here in Manhattan. And I took acting on film classes. Now, this whole time growing up, I was just as interested in photography and film and all that stuff. I would watch movies, but I never thought I could make anything like that. Mm-hmm. So I did the first year at the New York Conservatory, and it kind of altered my career path, mainly because I didn't enjoy acting on film as much as I did acting in theater, because I would want to make choices and I'd want to do certain things, and you'd have the professor like, no, you can't do that. You're leaving the light. I'm like, well, I fucking want to do that. So I can't do that. So 2nd year, I took web series class and videography classes and classes that taught me about filmmaking, and we were exposed to studios and lighting equipment and film equipment. And so with my student loan for my second year, I bought my first professional camera, which got me through that year. And I was actually able to, because not everyone was taking those intro to camera, behind the camera classes, but everyone was required to make a web series.
Oh, okay.
It was just people were doing it on their phones or you know, with a little camera that you could buy from any store. But so I made a pilot episode for my web series, but for the remainder of the class, I got all my credits from helping other people with their web series. Because I was the cinematographer for all their web series.
Oh my God. So you didn't even finish yours?
I didn't even finish mine. Because I got all my credits from helping other people. But it was cool. It was fun. I sometimes have trouble, like, you know, like coming out of my shell. So it was nice to like talk, like, hi, like I can help.
That's funny.
So
never seen you as a shy person, but
well.
So that was like the first time that you were exposed to like the stage crew, like that kind of film crew, I guess it would be, like that kind of stuff.
Yeah, because it's I mean, growing up, I could like take a picture with like a wind up Kodak, or like I had like a little Canon that my mom gave me one year for Christmas. I would go out in the backyard, but I didn't know how to edit. Like whatever was on the SD card was the finished
final product.
Like, cause I didn't have any concept of how to edit something or any, and like, so it, I go off on tangents. What was I talking about?
Your
you
first time
me
being
about
exposed to, because I was thinking, I don't remember, I took the tech and design class.
Right.
And that for me was, you know, other than like when people wouldn't get cast as a part they wanted, and then they'd be like, you know, oh, whatever, I'll just do stage crew, like as a backup. But then once I took that class, that showed me like, oh, acting's fun, acting's fine if I get it, but like the stage crew and like all of that kind of stuff is like where everything comes together. The actors are just, you know, put this on, say these things, move around this way, whatever. And that's when I got into like directing and stuff like that. But I didn't know for you when that all started to happen.
No, yeah, I mean, yeah, college. I mean, I wish I had learned about it sooner. I wish I had. I mean, I assistant directed a couple things in high school, and I directed like one play. Right. But it wasn't.
Did you like doing that, or like how does that compare to film?
Theater and film are naturally very different. Like you get the instant applause when you're doing theater, and when you're doing film, it takes about 2 years. when people see it, and I'm not, you know, saying that as like a cocky thing. It's nice to get for people to see the work. I don't fuck the applause, fuck the pat on the back, but I want people to see the work, and if I can, you know, in theater you get that instantly. And last summer I directed a musical, and it was my first time returning to the theater in like 5 years.
Oh my gosh, how was that? What show was it?
It was Matilda. Matilda the musical.
And you were working with what age group?
Oh gosh, 6 to 25.
Oh wow, I didn't realize they got to be that old. I thought they were all little kids.
No, there were a couple of college kids.
Because that's totally different. Working with small children in a play, and then working.
Well, and I had experience because I mean, I guess I still do. I haven't done it in a couple of years, but I teach for a theater/film agency out in Chicago. I teach courses for them in Massachusetts and New York and Boston. But it's yeah, it's very there's a lot of patience when you're working with kids that sometimes you want to just throw out the window and
Right.
tell them to get their together. But
Yeah.
you can't do that because you got to make that bread. So, but yeah, it was nice returning to the theater. I definitely missed it. But then film is just it's so much more controlled when everyone has a job to do.
Right.
With theater directors, everyone is like, wearing multiple hats. Whereas if when I'm doing film, people are coming to ask me questions, but you have the answers.
Right.
Because you know what you want. So
But you have a lot more time to work for film too, as opposed to theater where it's like you need to get this. This is a one take thing.
Right.
Like,
well, and this show was 2 weeks. We rehearsed for 2 weeks and then it went up. Because it was like a summer camp / intensive.
How did it turn out? Do you think good?
I was really proud of them.
Nice.
I was really happy with the way it turned out because they worked hard and at the end of the day I'm watching the show. I was able to watch the show and feel confident that they were going to get their lines right and hit their marks and make choices.
That's awesome. So. Well, we'll do one more question about theater and then we'll kind of move more into like film and stuff like that. But what was your all-time favorite role ever in your whole career in acting, and why? I don't think like you've explained, like, because I know, but like you haven't explained like the extent of how many you've done. Like
I've done a few. I've done a handful.
Don't even play the modest thing. I'm not gonna hype you up. That was my only.
I guess the role where I felt the most comfortable, like I could like do it over and over again, like I could do it tomorrow, is probably Horton the Elephant.
Okay.
In Seussical.
You did that more than once though, didn't you?
I did that a couple times. And and I would say yes to doing it again. I mean it's such a fun part, and it's like it's a part that represents me, I feel. So it's yeah.
Go into that more. Why?
Well, no, it's a very, you have, I mean, the for anyone who doesn't know Seussical, it's all of Dr. Seuss's stories, and Horton the Elephant is an outcast who is dealing with isolation. He's not welcome in any. There are all these groups, and he's not a part of any one of them. He kind of maneuvers throughout them, but he's not, he's not clumped in with any one group. So yeah, definitely.
Okay, well that's nice. That's cute. All right, so your job. Let's get into. You work on Broadway as well.
I do. My company does infrared listening devices for hearing aids, and we also do closed captioning and description for every show on Broadway.
Okay, so what do you do?
We get the script. I am in charge of, we have one rep for any given show every night, and so what I do is I take reservations, and I work with the patrons that come to see the shows on how they can get one. I show them how to use them. We also do translations.
Oh, cool. That's awesome. That's really cool.
So I had to learn how to speak Korean and Japanese, not like, but enough to do the job. And Spanish, because you have people that come in and want a translation device, you have to show them how to use it and stuff.
Oh my God! Wow.
So that, that took a lot.
How did you get that job? Did you know did that come through school? Did you intern?
No, I was in school and I needed a job.
And you just applied and then got it?
Well, no, my grandma had a friend that has been doing it for like 20 years, since the 90s.
Oh my God.
And I was like, can you ask him if I can come in for an interview? And she's like, yeah. So I went in, and it was I mean, I started work like the next day.
Oh God, that's so
That was
awesome.
nice.
Oh.
But it's nice because I get to I go to the parties and I network and here's a card. And it's also it's nice because there are a lot of people that I mean, especially coming from a theater background, that I've admired
right
for 15, 20 years.
Yeah. So you get to watch the shows every time you're at work?
Sometimes.
Oh, okay.
Sometimes, yeah. If I can get away, I can sneak in and check out the show. But like
awesome.
once you've seen, I mean, I don't need to see Phantom of the Opera ever again. I can go. I mean, I've seen it like dozens of times.
Oh my God.
But yeah, it's a good job. I love. It's a great company to work for.
That's awesome. Cool. So we'll get into, well, I skipped over this, but did you have any internships or anything like through school that you kind of got to work out in the field with, like as an apprentice or anything like that for film people? Or
I worked as a casting director's apprentice for about a year at Three of Us Studios, which is actually my school. On the 12th floor of my school was the casting studio.
Okay.
They cast like The Walking Dead and shows like
cool
a bunch of TV shows and films and stuff. More television, but yeah.
What did that job entail for you?
I mean, it was really just watching them work. It didn't really. It wasn't. It was watching them, and after the actors leave the room, you hear what the conversation.
Did that help you though, like later on when you had to do? Because casting was one of the big things that I had questions about.
I mean, not particularly, because some of the stuff they were saying was brutal. Like they were like, oh my God, can you believe that? Like that, I'm like, ouch.
Oh,
so it's really, I mean, I'm very, when it comes to, because I know how it feels to go to an audition.
Right.
And you feel like, I mean, if you don't get it, you're like, oh my God, they hated me. Like,
right.
and like,
most of the time that's not the case.
It's like, I mean, unless it depends on who you deal with. Sometimes, but and even like there were cases when I sat in on casting sessions, and they couldn't have been nicer, and it can come down to the smallest thing when you don't get a part. The smallest thing. You could have the wrong eye color. They could not like the leg that you lean on when you're standing in a neutral position. It's like the smallest thing.
Crazy.
So it really depends. I love when the film is cast.
Mm-hmm.
When the show is cast, I hate casting it.
Yeah. I see a lot of times in movies, like especially recently, like because I used to never care about anybody that was in the movie. Like it kind of just depended on the movie, and I looked more for like the backgrounds and the sets and stuff like that, because that's what interests me, the costumes and stuff like that. But I see so many actors and actresses that are like typecast, like they only play them. And like for me, I'm just like, what are you guys, what's the casting director even doing? Like if you just have this movie and you need like a goofy guy, and you have the same goofy guy,
right? Well, and like
movie.
the main purpose of the casting director is just to whittle it down. Ultimately, it comes down to the director and what the director wants. I mean, the casting director might be praising one person, and the director might be like, "Are you fucking out of your mind?" So it's like, it's. I don't want to say casting directors aren't needed, because they're important and they serve a purpose. But I always insist on being in the room.
As the director.
There was a point where we had 75 people for an open call, and I sat through all 75 people, because I'm like, you guys could miss something that I might find important. And you can videotape auditions, but I think that when you're in the room and someone is giving it their all, and this comes from being an actor. Mm-hmm. This comes from my understanding of what goes into being an actor. And I mean, to not take it into directing would be foolish.
Right. Yeah, no, absolutely.
It would be like, why bother?
Right.
But because you can, I mean, there are these little nuances that even though an audience might notice, but I notice it.
Right.
And I know what someone can take into a role. And even like, you know, there have been times where I've seen people, they haven't gotten the part, but then the next film I do, I'm like, well, let me, because I keep on file all the headshots and resumes. I'm like, well, let me see what so-and-so,
Right.
let me give so-and-so a call, see if they want to meet for a lunch meeting or whatever.
Yeah. That's cool.
Yeah.
So let's jump into your film stuff. I don't know if you want to talk about a specific one. Was Abstraction your first one?
That was the most recent one. That's the one that just came out.
Okay. So let's talk about that. So do you do like everything? Like, did you write the script and like plan it all out?
I wrote it and directed it.
Okay.
And I was the cinematographer and I edited it.
Okay. So what was and it's like your genre is kind of like horror stuff now.
Yeah, it's I mean, I never write something with the intent of it being it's just, that's just how it turns out.
How it came out. Okay.
Yeah, I wanted it to be a love story and it didn't turn out that way. But yeah, no, I wrote it February of 2018.
Okay.
We started filming in May of 2018. We finished around November, and it came out on video on demand in March of 2019, and then on Blu-ray about 3 months ago.
Oh wow! So where can you like watch it or whatever? I don't know.
It's on Vimeo on demand.
Okay.
With one of our distributors, and then our other distributor, it's on their website, conceptmediallc.com.
Okay, I'll put that all in the blog post after this goes up. But okay. So let's go back to the start of it. So you wrote it, and then did you at that point have like some sort of like crew team, like an assistant?
I do. I mean, I like to keep my circle small because I used to have, in 2017, I was like high on making films. I made, I think, 8 films in that year.
That was like right after graduation, right?
That was right after graduation.
Yeah.
I was just like, oh, okay, boom, boom, boom,
right.
boom, boom. Once I was editing one, I was already working on another. So I had a team of a big group of people. I would say about 12.
From school?
From school, okay. Friends that I had worked with on school projects. And, you know, a lot of stuff happened that year. A lot of drama happens with people. You have, you know, but what I learned is that when you have so many people in your circle and one of them leaves, there's a gap, and then they try and spread toxic energy to other people. And so I learned to keep it small because, you know, you can have, you know, a large crew, but I'm talking about like the tight-knit group of people that understand what you're trying to do.
Right.
And what you want to share with an audience.
Right. You have to trust them. That's the big thing.
Right. Exactly. That's the biggest part of it is trust and understanding and being on the same page. And sometimes I would work with people, and we wouldn't even be in the same bookstore. Because it wasn't happening.
Right.
But with Abstraction, I went back to kind of like my roots of like, okay, you know, it was, I think, maybe 4 of us, including me, so technically 3. But yeah, I wrote the script, and I already had plans to shoot it and what have you, because, you know, I have a lot of
vision?
No.
I have no idea where you're going.
I don't know what the hell I was trying to say. Anyway,
all right,
so I wrote it, and then I was like, okay, great, we can start shooting next week. No problem. All right. And then there's an actress that or a character she's the lead of the film, but she was so important to cast, and it didn't. I hadn't written it with anyone in mind. I had written it with just like this idea of what she is.
Mm-hmm.
But then this is why I hate casting. I was like, I don't know what
I was just going to ask about casting. How did you put out, like, because your casts are generally pretty small, right?
Yeah, I find it's better that way.
Yeah, it's like under 10 people.
Always.
Yeah,
always.
So that's so much more manageable.
Yeah, there was no way otherwise. And what I try to do when writing is I never put more than 4 people in any given scene at any given time. So
it gets too chaotic.
Different days.
Yeah.
And like you don't have to worry about it. It's just.
Where did you put the open call out to? Did you kind of just use your network that you had made, like of friends and actor people, to try to?
I use like Backstage and IMDb Pro, but 90% of the 100% of the cast were people that I knew or had worked with before. There was one girl, the girl that ended up leading the film, was had auditioned for a proof of concept that I was planning to shoot the year prior. And so I was like, it was late nights. I was like, oh, what am I going to do? I don't know. I can't do this.
Right.
I'm going to have to scrap the script because I'm not going to sacrifice quality just because I want to get it made.
Right.
But then I was like, well, let me see what Mary's up to. So I gave her a call. I was like, can I take you to lunch? Can we talk about this? Can we talk about this thing? She's like, sure. And then that's pretty much how it happened. And then everyone else I had, one of the other actress who leads the film had reached out to me the year earlier about just like, I heard about you. Can we maybe, meet, talk about an idea or something?
Cool.
And like that was, I was very like, oh, just an email from somebody just out of the blue. But I really liked her look. She had a great look. She had a great look for the genre, and so I was just going through my email, and I was like, let me see what Bella's doing. And so I sent Bella an email, and then and then I felt a lot better about it. I was like, okay, yeah, this, that, and the other thing. Let me get out. I storyboarded it in like 2 days.
Well, that's huge. If you have a good script and you don't have anyone to play the part, like,
play all the
what
parts.
can you do?
I should just play all the parts.
Just play all of them. Get different wigs. It's fine. You could do it. So what's run me through like a typical day of shooting. Like, how do you decide like where you're gonna shoot? Like, what do you bring? Like, do you have extra equipment? Like, do you have your own sound guy? Like, what do you do? Or gal?
My crew typically wears a lot of different hats. So like my sound guy was also my lighting guy.
Okay.
Because it's very, so it really depends. There were even times where actors were holding the boom because we were short people.
How you gotta do it?
But the thing that sucks, especially living in the city. No car. I don't have a license.
Oh my God, you still don't?
No.
Oh my God.
This is live. We're live right now.
We're live, and this is gonna go up on something at some point. So there's no edits. This is it. So.
So I have 3 Pelican cases worth of. With the camera body and all the lenses, plus the tripod, which the tripod stands about 5 feet tall without the extensions, and then you have the lighting equipment and the sound equipment, and you have to be gentle with all the shit. It's not like you can just
right.
So like ordering Ubers and stuff.
Oh my God.
Takes a huge fucking chunk out of the budget.
Yeah. How do you pick locations? Do you try to do it based off? Because you're like right in the heart. Aren't you right near like Times Square?
I moved a little further uptown.
Okay.
It's too noisy down there.
But still like in the city.
Yeah, I'm still in Manhattan. Okay. I'm on the upper side of Manhattan. But with locations, there's a site that I use called I use it all the time. Sometimes I'll call in favors, or because I have friends that live on Long Island, or
Right.
if I need like a house or something, I'm not gonna rent a house for a
No, yeah, no.
$150, $200 an hour. But peer space, if I need like if I want something specific, because a lot of with any filmmaking regardless, you have to be flexible,
Right.
because looking for exactly what you want is impossible. So you make do with what you have. I mean, it sucks when you have to like change things, but sometimes changing things is where the creative part of your brain comes in. So you have to like, but yeah, peer space. They have anyone can post a location and post the rates or whatever. I remember one time with shooting this film, we had the budget, we had everything mapped out, and this is an example of certain. And things happen. I get that things happen, but there was a point where there was a one of our actors had a family emergency, and I had rented the space in Brooklyn already.
Oh.
And the space was, I rented it for the night because I'm like, this is the main location. We can knock this out in the night.
Right.
And it was, at the end of the day, it was about like $900.
Oof.
And so I was like, the actor called me and I was like, no problem, family first, do what you got to do, no problem.
Right.
I call the space and they're like, you have it for tonight, but we can't change the date.
No.
So and this is like, I couldn't afford to rent it again for another
Right.
$100, so I found another space. But again, it was a happy accident because the space we ended up renting for the night, I ended up renting another space in Brooklyn for the night, and it was like, I want to say like $250 for the night, and it was great. It sucked about the.
Did they let you cancel the other one, or you had to pay for it?
No, I had to pay for it. That's why they wouldn't let me reschedule it, because it was within 48 hours of the booking.
Oh my God,
So
that
wouldn't let
sucks.
me. So I had like a mini. I'm having like a mini panic attack in my apartment with my roommate. He's like, "Dude, calm down."
No.
Because and this is also my lighting and sound guy.
Oh God.
And I'm like, I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do.
Oh my God.
He's like, we're gonna figure it out. Don't worry.
So, what's something that you wish you knew when you started doing this that you know now that would have made it easier?
A shit ton of stuff.
Give us some examples.
Oh man, I didn't know. I knew I wanted to, direct. I didn't know shit about ISO or overexposure.
Oh no.
Or shifting focus.
Oh no.
I learned. I self-taught myself, but
right. So that's where you learned. You just kind of trial and error.
Yeah, trial and error. Like, oh, that doesn't look good, or oh, that looks pretty good. If I had just because when I would start out, shifting focus was like, and it's like it looked choppy. You could tell when something was fucking blurry. But, I made a film in college. It was my first feature film. It turned out horribly.
Oh, no.
I love it, but it turned out horribly. I made it with a bunch of my friends. We made it in Central Park.
Oh my God.
But I had used my life savings up until that point to make it.
Oh my God.
Because I was, stupid. But again, it was such a learning experience. And one of the actors in it went on to do Spider-Man Homecoming the next year.
Oh my God.
So it's like he was such a good sport about it. He was like, we're having fun. So it's and I wouldn't trade that experience for anything, because I learned how to have fun, and that if you take yourself too seriously, you're doing it wrong. Because even like through trial and error of like meeting people and networking, I've learned that so many directors have a God complex. And it's hard to kind of, break that, because they just like, oh yes, well, there has to be this wall, and I have to. And we were sitting around smoking cigarettes, filming a movie, and that's
Yeah.
all it was. So
Right.
it's, yeah.
We have a question from Kieran. Did you need a filming permit for any of these places in New
A
York City?
lot of the time, anything that's public,
Okay.
and that takes another huge chunk out of the budget.
Yeah,
So,
I'm sure.
I mean, budgeting is not fun, but I learned how important it is.
Right.
Because even for a short film, I love making short films because I feel that a feature is a feature because it's padded with nonsense. And that's what sucks about filmmaking is that, like, there are these scenes that are extended and people talking about nothing just to pad the runtime and get that movie over an hour and a half.
Yeah.
My movies are so short because boom, 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 you hop to the next thing automatically. There's not, but yeah, so filming permits are yeah. When we film, I didn't have one when we were shooting in the.
Oh no, you cut out.
Someone was calling. I'm on my iPad and someone was messaging me.
Oh, okay. Well, I was gonna say, don't say you did anything illegal. It's kind of
it wasn't illegal. I mean, we were. I mean, tourists walk around in Central Park with cameras all the time.
Right, but not for short films.
Yeah, absolutely. We were like, but it was like, we were like, all right, and this was in college, but it was like, all right, set the tripod, all right, go stand over there, all right, and go. But there was a time where one of my actors, she was screaming her head off, and the cops came over.
Oh my God! But it was for the film.
It was for the film.
Oh my God.
Yeah, because there was a subway right nearby, and people inside the subway heard someone screaming. They didn't break up the filming or anything, but they were like,
No. Oh my God. Real quick, back to budgeting. Do you apply for like any like artist grants? I know in New York City, this is all out of pocket.
This is all out of pocket.
Oh my God! Wow.
Out of pocket. All money that I save, and I don't go on vacations, but I mean, people go on vacations because they hate their jobs.
Right.
And I wouldn't do anything else.
No, that's great.
I love doing this. But yeah, it's out of pocket, or it's we do like crowdfunding.
Okay, cool.
And then for Abstraction, we brought on a few producers.
Nice.
/ investors. So it's not always out of pocket. Early on it was entirely.
Right.
Early on in 2017 and 2016, I spent about $7,000 to make movies.
But you made a shit ton.
I did. I made about 23 in 2016 and 2017. So it's like I got my money's worth.
Right.
But it's like those movies are just like, those were early on, so most of those are just available for people to see for free because I just wanted, at that point, I mean still, but at that point I just wanted to get it out there.
Right.
Like, okay, it's done. Watch it.
Well, the funny thing is when you start out, most people are self-funding everything they do, and that's when you're making the most mistakes, doing the dumbest shit with money. Like,
that's right.
But you learn from it, especially when it's your own money. Like, that's a big deal. Like, you're never gonna.
I'm very thrifty too. I find with money, I don't waste it.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's. I mean, but it's like my biggest thing early on was that the actors need to always be comfortable. You need to always be comfortable. So like, one of the days when we were done shooting, I took like 7 people to a nice restaurant.
Oh no!
Because I was like, because I didn't know.
Get them Subway or something.
Yeah, right. There's Subway right there.
Oh
and I'm like, I'm just whatever.
Oh my God. Well, you gotta do it when you can, I guess.
Yeah, I couldn't though. That was the thing. I ate ramen.
Oh my God. Out of all your projects, what was your like proudest one from like college up to now? Like just you're super stoked about it.
Probably this one, Abstraction.
Cool.
I made one back in 2017 called The Audition.
Yes.
And I love that one too. But there were a lot of problems with that movie. I know that there were a lot of problems with that movie. There were like points where it was like I had to edit crackling of the mic, and it was like just all this stuff where it's like, oh, how can I make such a stupid fucking mistake?
Right.
Whereas this one, I feel really confident about it, and I'd be happy if anyone saw it.
That's great. Well, we'll definitely make sure that some other people check it out after this. But you said you wear a lot of hats during like your directing and during your film stuff. Like, what is your absolute favorite part? Like, what's the favorite thing that you do?
Probably directing.
Why?
Probably. Because
You like being bossy?
yes. No. I mean, one of the main things is that the way I approach directing is I kind of get to play all the parts. I kind of get to see choices be made by actors, and I'm like, well, that's really great, but maybe add this little, thing here or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas if you're an actor and you give someone else a note,
Right. You seem like
you're
an
a
asshole.
fucking asshole.
Yeah.
but with directing, it's very different, and I hate the writing and I hate the editing.
Mm-hmm.
I love the shooting and then watching the finished movie. Those are my two favorite things to do. Because editing is just the bane of my existence.
I love editing. Everyone always says that. I love it.
Especially like my company, we use 3 different softwares.
Okay.
Because we use Final Cut to like cut the footage together, and then we use DaVinci Resolve to color, and then we use Adobe Premiere for special effects. So it's like I spend more time rendering than I spend on set.
Oh yeah.
There's so much. It's ridiculous.
Oh my
but
God.
Yeah, no, directing definitely, because I also love working with the actors.
Yeah.
I mean, it's one of the great joys that I have. I'm always so excited to get to set and just start.
Yeah. What is your biggest goal for yourself as an artist, director, like the dream? What does that look like for you?
I always like to say that I'm living it, but that's kind of a lie. I mean, to be a full-time filmmaker and not have to have another job and just be able to do what I do, wake up, brush my teeth, and just show up on set.
Right.
I think is just, or in a theater, or just, I mean, I love theater and film. It's just, not having to have a survival job would be nice.
Right. Definitely. All right. So I'm going to give you about 2 minutes to brag about any awards or accomplishments you've gotten. You get 2 minutes, and then we're going on to the last question. So go. Time starts now.
I mean, I don't know. We had a festival. My films get into a lot of festivals, but the problem is a lot of them are overseas. Like we had one last year for the audition that was screening the film in this like 400-seat theater in Italy, and I can't go because they don't.
Why was it in Italy? You just applied to like random ones?
I knew what I was submitting to.
Oh.
But that means 400 people saw the film.
Right, in Italy.
So it's in Italy.
1 minute left.
2 minutes. I have 2 minutes.
No, you got 1 minute left. I'm going off my clock.
That was not a minute. Okay. Abstraction was just in a festival last August in Jersey, so it's nice when they're local and I can go to them.
Did you get to go to that one?
Yeah, I got to go to that one. There was one down in the village that I got to go to.
How was that? Was it cool?
It was so much fun. It was so much fun. I just love. I like, because watching a film with your film with an audience is like
seeing the reactions. That's the applause you were looking for.
Like people are watching the screen and I'm like watching the people.
That's great.
So, but yeah, no, that's it. Didn't do much bragging, but yeah.
No, it's okay. I expected you to go on for a while. That's why I put a time limit on it. But
well, of course you did.
Well, last question. What are you most excited for after quarantine?
Oh, to go to the park. I love the way writers, they're like, oh, well, I can just crack out like 5 scripts now. I get inspired by, and this might sound creepy, whatever. I like to watch people in the park, and that's like I'll be in the park, and like people will be getting a couple will be getting a hot dog at a hot dog stand, and the boyfriend will spill mustard on a shirt and be like, oh golly, and like start to wear it. So like that kind of stuff inspires me. I love watching people and watching how they live, because that's how you develop how people actually talk.
Right.
Because I hate when I watch a movie and people are like saying something that's like
robots.
Totally not how fucking people talk.
Yeah.
And I'm like, are you like someone okayed that line? So I definitely go to the park. I mean, there's a park right here, but I mean, I ain't sitting foot outside. But yeah, I think, and just walk down the street and not have, people. It's a scary time. It's a scary time, and people are going through a lot. And probably after I go to the park, probably go to B&H, which is our camera store down here.
Yes.
Which I'll probably spend a lot of money at. Oh, wait, no, I won't. I'm unemployed.
Oh, no. Do you have any projects in the works right now? Like, are you working on anything?
Luckily, I mean, I had 2 films that I shot last year that were just like, I mean, I didn't have time to work on them because I was working on Abstraction, but they are shot. So I'm editing those right now.
Okay, cool.
I have a Zoom meeting on Friday with a production company for another film. They asked me to write a script. I wrote a script, and so we're going to see if that does anything.
Awesome.
And that's about it.
Great. When do you expect those to be done? Like 2 years or whatever?
The ones that I'm editing?
Yeah.
I'm hoping one of them is almost done editing, and then I send it off to the composer, and then it's done. I'm hoping another couple of weeks.
Okay, cool.
That one I'm really excited about because it has Maria Olsen, who was in Percy Jackson and the Lightning Thief.
Okay.
And Paranormal Activity 3. So that was
cool.
really exciting to work with her. And
That's
then
awesome.
The other one is in the early stages of editing. I haven't even colored it yet. It's basically just the footage is cut together in a timeline.
Okay.
And that'll be done hopefully by the end of this year, beginning of next year.
Great. Awesome. Well, I will link all your stuff, and later on I will have that up on the blog, and we'll get the videos up on YouTube or wherever I decide to put them up. And thank you so much. It was great talking to you. If you guys have any other questions for Anthony, send them my way, and we can do a follow-up later. But thank you so much, and I'll talk to you later.
Thank you so much.
Bye, guys.